hello everyone. Now we're going to move into the Matt.
Suggested backlinks and supporting articles.
Right, so that's SBL and SSA on these columns, and Matt's going to explain what these two are and how they work, and Sue's going to help out as well. Sue, you got a comment? No?
Right.
Okay.
This is a very interesting topic. Because we're in the keyword decision sprint and we've got to make decisions about keywords, we need to sort of look at the keyword as an individual entity. And when we factor these backlinks in, we've got to take into account the promotional things that happen in the background as well. And we have to factor in the silo framework. So what we got here with the suggested backlinks is a calculation that takes into account how competitive a keyword is, how strong is the competitors with their page rank in a keyword, and we calculate estimated amount of backlinks between a page rank of 2 and 4 that you should have pointing back to your actual page. So if your page is weddings, you'll need about 600 backlinks linking back to this page, as well as we'll need about 43 articles to actually theme and build up a theme for weddings. So it helps you think about your silo structure as well. Sue and I had quite a heated debate on this in the first week I was here, and she got into a huff with me, but we talked it through, and we found out that we were both right from different sides. Looking at the data from two different objectives, we both actually were right, and we just tweaked things slightly with coming to a nice medium, and this gives you a very good indicator of what you're going to be doing over the lifespan of getting ranked for the keyword. So those two columns give you an idea of how many keywords you should be building over the period that you want to get ranked for the keyword. So you want to have anything to say on that?
Sure. The interesting thing about these two columns is that they're synergistic, right? So when you get to the point that you're actually building out your website, if you've only got 40 supporting articles, it means you're going to have to subsidize that with more inbound links in order to make your goal. The other thing I want to say is that these are estimates. That so far, the people who have reported back to us have said, if anything, our estimates were too high in previous versions. So we've tried to correct that a little bit in this version, but it's still, we're shooting for a worst case scenario. So we're anticipating that people won't have to do this much, but we want to give you a barrier to entry. Yeah,
that word barrier to entry is very important. Because we're dealing with a single keyword, we have to treat it as it is. The fact that we're using silo architecture to map out a whole blueprint, it does lower the actual cost in reality, but when you're starting off on a project, you need to have an expectation of cost, time, and how much work's involved when building out your site. And when you're dealing with a particular page, because weddings will become a page, if you're going to put into your blueprint, you need to have something set in your mind that's your target, that's your goal that you want to go for. If you get ranked sooner for that, that's brilliant, but we set expectations. And when a client sees that you actually get ranked and you've only built 400 backlinks, you got ranked for them in 15 months instead of 22, and you saved them £2,000 on the cost, that paints a whole different picture in the client's mind, because you've over-delivered, you saved him money, and you've achieved the goal.
Exactly.
So what's he going to do? He's going to go to the pub or wherever he goes, the golf course, he's going to speak to his friends, and he's going to brag. Yep. I got position number 1. My guy is good. Oh, who's your guy? If it's a close friend, you say, go speak to Sue or Matt or whoever one of our members are using the tool, and you'll get the referral work as well. So it's a very, very powerful, these columns are business building columns, and if you use them right as sales tools, you will come across as knowledgeable when you're speaking to your clients.
Yeah, definitely.
The other thing I want to point out is when you're looking at that cost column, what we're estimating there is the number of costs for the one article that you have to write for this particular weddings page and the supporting backlinks.
Yes.
We're not including the cost in the 43 supporting articles, because as you bring in those other 43 keywords, they're obviously going to have their own costs associated with them, so that all rolls up in the blueprint.
Can you repeat that? I didn't get that.
Right.
Sure.
So what's happening here?
Give me an example. Like use real language of like.
We're going to take weddings, right, and we're going to move weddings into our blueprint.
Correct. It would go over into a silo structure because it has an S by it.
When we move this across, it's one page on the website.
Right. So the cost is for that article.
So we can't charge you for 43 pages.
No.
We can charge you for only one page.
Right. So the calculations are based on.
So the calculations is 664 backlinks plus one page gives us the total.
Okay, but a quick question.
Yeah.
Those 43 articles, when you started adding those under separate editions, those will get calculated individually.
Yeah.
So it's all calculated that. That's all you're
Correct.
saying, right?
That's what I'm
Okay,
saying.
that's not hard. You just
No.
got to keep it simple.
This is
Yeah.
what makes
Okay.
these numbers on the side.
Yeah, the blueprint
actually-
cost overview and the value as well as the sales team, all that stuff is there. Okay, gotcha.
So you can see here we're spending so far £4,000, but the business can bring in
That's right,
£33,600
that's
pounds
right.
per month just for
Yeah.
these keywords.
And for all of you guys and gals who are do-it-yourselfers, who've been interested in this tool, have talked to on the phone and the rest, is that column is really, really good for you. There's no way to use our tool without putting in some kind of business decision. And what I've discovered, on the business decision screen, what I've discovered is that's incredibly useful because your time gets included in. I just wanted to toss this in here for independent rogue guys who do-it-yourselfers who just want to do everything. It actually shows the value of your own time.
Right.
So even if you plan on doing it or building a site this year, this is going to project out your personal time and value as well. And if you have, of course, if you're using Fiverr or using Odesk or Elance, or there's other places to write articles, then of course you have your time. I just love the fact that no matter how you account for stuff, you have to account for the cost that it really does
Right.
cost to build and write and create content for a site.
Right.
It's just great.
It is.
And I've actually talked to people who have to really think about, how much does it really cost for me to take care of my own articles or content, It's
Yeah.
really great.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Is your time
Yeah.
worth $15 or is it worth £100?
Yeah, it's up to you to decide. But at least you know that building a website is not free.
No.
So the other thing I want to talk about, since you mentioned free there,
Mhm.
is where you've got supporting articles under weddings, where you need 43 supporting articles under weddings.
Mhm.
Let's say that one of the categories that you put under weddings is going to be wedding planner. Okay, wedding planner's got 33 articles that it needs all by itself,
Mhm.
right? But this isn't a sum in that silo of 43 plus 33. You actually take that 33 off the 43. So you have 33 articles that you need for wedding planner, and then you only need another 10 articles for weddings. So it's, you can have more than that, obviously. You're not limited to 43. But it's the sum of all of the articles in that silo when you're looking at the number of articles required for that silo landing page.
I gotcha.
Okay.
So it just gives you a reference point that typically the guys say build a silo, add 5 articles as a minimum.
Right.
And what's happened is when I speak to a lot of guys as well, they think that's all I got to do.
Yeah.
But that's not true.
No.
Because if you're dealing with page rank 5s, 4s, and 3s, and there's 20 million competing pages, you need to build out a bigger site.
Well, can you guys explain something to me that if it says SA and there's still supporting articles, what does that mean?
Are you talking about over here?
Well, if it says
Okay, so like
if it says supporting articles as a category,
wedding hairstyles, as in for instance,
yeah.
needs 10 supporting articles. So that means within that category, you're going to need to have 10 articles that are talking about hairstyles, one way or another, that are sort of along that same topic.
So as you building out your sites,
But to support what? To rank for wedding hairstyles?
Yep.
Okay, so if something is a supporting article, like wedding hairstyles is, does that mean I need 10 articles to rank for wedding hairstyles?
if you went for this keyword
It's going to
by
be at the
itself-
same level in the silo structure?
Yeah, this is how the page rank actually works.
Or is it the 4th level down?
This is the 4th level down.
Okay.
This column here, supporting articles, tells you the layer in the data hierarchy. So silos, categories, and supporting
So where do those
articles.
articles, which is 10 according to your things, where does that go?
So because we said on average our competitors are page rank 4 on the site, if we want to get ranked for wedding hairstyles, we're going to need at least 10 supporting articles to get this keyword ranked. So
At the same level or underneath it?
it can be same as this. You can have 10 inside the folder, or at supporting articles, you're at the bottom of you can't go lower than that. In this
So they would be side by side?
side by side. It can run down like this. You can have
So one thing that you could do is to have 2 or 3 wedding hairstyles articles. Like maybe wedding hair is the category. And so you've got 2 or 3 hairstyle type articles there that link together, because everything within that category would link together. But your other option is you've only got 12 suggested backlinks for that term. So instead of having 10 supporting articles there, you can just know that you're going to need more backlinks, and you'll still rank for it.
Okay, so yeah, there's a trade-off between backlinks and articles.
Right.
Let me just see if I can repeat that back to you. Go down to Hindu weddings, which we know is very popular in the States as well. See that? And it says there that there's 9 articles. That's the kind of, the line in the sand you're drawing. You're just tossing out some, general idea.
Right.
What you're actually telling me is if I want to rank for Hindu weddings, and I put that as a supporting article underneath a particular category of whatever I put it under, right? That's either going to be translated into backlinks or it could also translate into articles.
Yes.
Yeah.
But are those articles going to be at the same level, or are they going to be underneath? They're going to be side by side?
They're going to have to be side by side if that's the bottom level of your... If
So-
that's truly a
so we would
supporting
have-
article, but you might want to bounce that up and make it a category. If I'm looking at something that requires
That many articles.
that many articles,
You could bounce it up.
I could, yeah.
You can put supporting articles into a category level if you
Yeah.
want to. It doesn't mean because this says to you,
Yeah, that's where our settings are at the default.
yes.
Yeah.
But would it automatically change if I stick it in? If I take a supporting article and I stick it in as a category, which I have the option to in the decision screen, will
Yeah.
it change that label?
No, because it's bound on the competing pages.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Unless I change my decision screen, unless I change what I qualify as a silo on my major decision screen, none of that will change.
Right.
But I can still stuff it or force it into
Yeah.
the category level.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah,
but it
we've-
will always remain that. Okay, that's good to know.
We've created the system so it can be totally loose, and
I got
you
that,
can
I got
you can
that.
merge and match things how you find.
So,
Yeah.
so the system's not going to stop me from moving a supporting article category into a category level. It's just not going to change the label. Is that correct?
No.
It's not going to change the label.
It
Okay,
won't
cool.
change the level because when you hover over it, it just gives you an idea of what layer
Yeah.
it sits in within the.
I mean, the
half.
thing is that there's several kinds of Hindu wedding articles that could be written. You could write on henna, they're wearing
Right.
henna on their hands. So if you wanted to, you could lay 5 or 6 articles on that and stick them under the same category. Or if
Yeah.
you wanted to, you could move it up to a category level.
Yeah.
It's going to depend on what your business is,
Mhm.
how you're creating the site, what your backlinking strategy is going to be, and what your budget's going to be. Well, actually, your budget's already part of that. So.
Right.
Yes.
All right, so that's a general idea. We've gone into some pretty complex stuff in this conversation, actually, you guys listening. You have to understand the basics of website silo architecture. Don't get confused about it. We have tons of videos and content about it. It's really exciting stuff. It just means that when you get these right, you're going to pop, as Matt likes to say, to the top, like a buoyant.
Yeah.
I call this buoyant page rank in the early 2000s, right?
Yeah.
And it really does work as long as you set your structure right. The reason I'm kind of asking is because in my mind, I use a lot of WordPress blogs, and we have a plugin that this works with. I'm just kind of thinking like, supporting articles, or we also use the blog post category supporting
Absolutely.
articles. And I'm trying to imagine, okay, I could have 5 posts as with different Hindu titles.
Yeah.
And they could all be
That
sitting
would
under,
work.
and it's going to be a page as a category
Yes.
on the blog. So it can sit under my page,
Yep.
which is like the master Hindu theme.
Yep.
Can be like my Hindu henna artistic wedding kit for
Yep.
hands and feet.
Yep.
Right, and then the rest of the articles I can see it. And what's cool is like as I begin to understand what's going on here, I can actually see my site in advance.
Exactly.
It's really cool. Good job, guys. Just high five there. Okay, I think we should wrap this one.
Sure.
And what's the next thing, Matt?
Well,
After this video, we're going to go into what?
we've basically just got to cover the flags. This is a very short video. We can talk about it.
We're
in
going
5
to go
minutes.
ahead and cut it anyways because I love this part and I don't want to slide over it.
Yep.
This is where the money is. So we're going to talk into the meaning of what you should be excited about, and we'll see you on the next video.
Sure.